Hello, hello. Happy Monday. So we're gonna get the quiz started in about 5 minutes. Just give everyone a chance to show up. Just say in the comments if you're here and ready to play, so I know I'm not speaking to myself. Yeah, so just a reminder that this quiz we're playing today, the winner can get one of our, someone in the chat, win one of this month's designs, a countdown killer sticker. There's a couple of people in the chat, nice. All right, so yeah, tonight's winner will get a countdown killer sticker from our Redbubble store. Obviously, that's a tie-in with our monthly event. So that's the hosted trivia mystery, more than a pub quiz. So that's you and 4 to 17 friends can have a privately hosted Zoom trivia / mystery event. Highly recommended. So find out more about that on our website. But yeah, you can win the Countdown Killer sticker tonight if you come in first place. Just going to wait a couple more minutes. I can see in the chat we've got a few people here already. I hope everyone's in the new. Oh, there you can see the design there. Countdown the quiz show, and Count Dracula, the vampire. All right. Yes. Nice. Plenty of people here already. I think I did send a comment out saying that the quiz itself will be starting about 5 past. So I will wait a couple more minutes just in case people are taking that very literally. I don't want to start without them. Yeah, hope second round of lockdown isn't being too hard on everyone. And this week's trivia is going to be 8 rounds, 5 questions each. It's our first time doing one this long, so we don't know exactly how long it's going to take. I reckon probably about an hour and a half, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, we've definitely got at least 5 people here already. So I think that's enough to begin. Yeah, I'll just do a quick run through the rounds we'll be doing today. So opening with a classic general knowledge. Round 2 will be cryptids of the US. Round 3 is turned around the world. Round 4 will be lost in translation. Round 5, written in the stars. Round 6, oh yeah, the not do copyright infringement. And round 7, order in the sport. Finally, capping that off with a second round of general knowledge, double general knowledge. All right, and I think it's time enough to begin the quiz. So that is round 1, general knowledge. So has everyone opened up, either like in another tab or on a different device, opened up the answer sheet where you can enter your answers, because that's how we'll be collecting them and ranking all the teams. So the first round, general knowledge, it's a classic category of rounds to begin with. The first question is, from which Italian city does pizza originate? So that's from which Italian city? Oh, wrong round. I'm looking at the wrong rounds. My mistake. I scrolled all the way down to read them out and saw general knowledge. Well, you've got preview of round 8. Yes. So, which of these dinosaurs lived longest ago is the question. Question 1, which of these dinosaurs lived longest ago? And your options are A, Triceratops, B, T-Rex, C, Stegosaurus, or D, Velociraptor. So if you had a dinosaur phase as a kid like I did, this will be no problem. So that is A, Triceratops, B, T-Rex, C, Stegosaurus, or D, Velociraptor. So which of the dinosaurs lived longest ago? All right. Moving to question 2. Which of the following characters had the most screen time in Avengers Endgame? A, Captain America, B, Iron Man, C, Thor, or D, Thanos? The question again is which character got the most screen time in Avengers Endgame? People conferring in the comments. All right, and moving on to question 3. What plant is a common folk remedy for nettle stings? A, mint, B, dock leaves, C, primrose, or D, watercress? So the question is, which of those plants is a common folk remedy for nettle stings? So what would your dad or your nan tell you to rub on a nettle sting? Question 4 in the first round. Which country produces the most wine? A, France, B, Spain, C, Italy, or D, the United States? So which of those 4 countries produces the most wine? Tonight's beer is Ursus. I can see a question in the comments about that. But we're not answering questions about beer. The question is about wine. Which country produces the most of it, to be exact? And the final question of the opening round. LeBron James recently won the NBA championship with his 3rd team. Name the team. Is it A, the Miami Heat, B, the Cleveland Cavaliers, C, the Chicago Bulls, or D, the LA Lakers? So which of those 4 teams recently won the NBA championship? And it's the 3rd team that LeBron James has won a championship with. So I'm going to repeat each of those 5 questions one more time for anyone who joined us a couple minutes late or who just didn't hear one of the questions. So the first question, you can see the answers in the answer form. So I'll just read the questions. So number 1 was, which of these dinosaurs lived the longest ago? So to be fully precise, which one went extinct longest ago? Which character got the most screen time in Avengers Endgame? That's question 2, not Infinity War, Endgame. Question 3, which plant is a common folk remedy for nettle stings? Question 4, which country produces the most wine? And question 5, LeBron James recently won the NBA championship with his 3rd team. Name the team. All right, so your answers will be automatically collected, and the scores are coming in already. I'm going to just give a couple of minutes for the last few people to get their answers in, and we'll see how the score table is looking so far. Okay, so we can see that it's tied at the top between TJ and Cat Flaps. So everyone's within 2 points of each other. Congratulations to the joint winners of round one. I can see people in the chat asking about the magic number. That's just to stop people getting too far ahead because the second round is American cryptids. And the way this is going to work, you're going to see the names of 5 American cryptids, and you'll also be given the names of 5 states, 5 US states. You need to match the cryptid to the state that it purportedly lives in. So the magic number is 482. When you type that in, you'll be able to see that the five cryptids, and each one lives in a different state or region. So those cryptids are the Hodag, the Frogman, the Mothman, the Skunk Ape, and the Jersey Devil. All right, so you can see on the screen there, magic number 482. And that's going to unlock round 2 for you. So we'll see how people get on with this. Yeah, so testing your knowledge of possibly mythical beasties. Okay, so trying to go pretty quickly, just waiting for these scores to come in before we go into the next round. And then we'll do a quick rundown of the different cryptids and have a little look at what they supposedly look like. All right, so already we're getting some people rolling in with this one. Okay, yeah, it's updating properly now. All right, so those 5 cryptids are the Hodag, the Frogman, the Mothman, the Skunk Ape, and the Jersey Devil. So only one shot at filling in the form there, guys. So it's only going to count. You'll see as the form collects the info, it's going to show what order it was entered in. All right, so do we have all of those in? I'm still waiting for a couple of teams. Okay. Just one team, waiting on one team now, so we can start adding the scores up of everyone else as we go. Yeah, there's the score sheet. Who are we waiting on now? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think the Rump Scallions. Here they are. The final score has arrived. Okay, so now that everyone's put their scores in, I guess I can just start running through the answers while those scores get calculated. So we'll just see what shows up on the screen there. Here we are. The Frogmen, personal favorite, are from Loveland County in Ohio. The one of the original witnesses now insists that it was actually an escaped pet iguana that he saw. There we have a picture of the skunk ape, which is said to inhabit the swamps of Florida and the Deep South. Following that, the hodag of Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Originally a hoax by local prankster Eugene Shepard. It's now the town mascot. That's the Jersey Devil. Not a trick question. It's from New Jersey. Now you've got the hockey team, the New Jersey Devils. Yeah, so that's the simple answer there. And finally, the Mothman, probably the most well-known cryptid on the list. It's had books, it's had a movie, and it's from West Virginia, and now thought to have been a lost migratory crane or wading bird. Okay, so our next round, round 3, turned around the world. So what's going to happen in this round? We are going to show you 5 pictures that were taken at famous landmarks. The twist is the view is what you would see with your back to the landmark. So name each landmark for a point. So we're going to see the first picture now. What's the landmark? Oh, a little bit of a jump in the stream there. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, slight technical difficulties there. Okay, but back to normal. Yeah, so behind us in that picture, there's a landmark. What's the landmark? Okay, picture number 2. Once again, we're facing away from a famous landmark. What do you think it is? All right, same premise again. What famous landmark is behind the photographer? So based on what you see in front of you, what do you think is behind you? Okay, the next one should be a little bit easier because we've got a different landmark in view. So based on what you see there, which landmark do you think is behind you? And finally, again, I think one of the easier ones on the list, which landmark would you normally see from the other end of that pond? All right, we've got answers coming in nice and quick. All right, yeah, I think, yeah, some of these definitely easier than others. Some good guesses. I think some people had advantages on some of them in particular. All right, a couple more minutes for those last 2 teams to get their answers in. All right, so that's almost everyone. Just one more team. All right, and let's have a look at that score table while we're waiting for the last person to get their answers in. Okay, so let's have a look at the running total. Cat Flaps taking a good lead there in just solid showings in every round so far. Well done, Cat Flaps. But there's still more than half of the quiz to go, so lots of time for anyone else to catch up. All right, and that is the last team in. Solid result. Um, Conferring with my producer. All right. So our next round is Lost in Translation. Yeah, so I've had to go through and just double check some of the answers with that one. So the answer collector will grade it, like mark them automatically, but I've had some of those places, some of the place names, maybe easy to make a spelling mistake on. So we've gone through and just altered the scores accordingly. But let's run through the answers first before we go on to the next round. I'm getting ahead of myself there. Oh yeah. So Tyler, someone's going to address that question there in the chat. But let's run through the answers. So first, we're just in a field. What's just in a field? Yeah, I think a couple of people maybe had some input errors on one of the other rounds. We're having an intermission in a bit, so we'll fix scores then. Yeah, it's Stonehenge. Stonehenge is in a field. Some people said Angel of the North, which equally valid guess. That's a different field. Next one is some mountains. What's in the mountains? And it's Machu Picchu, which you can't also really tell from that picture. So here's a further removed view. All right, here we can see Sydney Harbour Bridge in Sydney Harbour. So behind us is the Opera House. And then we've got two more. Oh yeah, last one. Here we are. So normally we'd see this landmark taken from the other end of that reflecting pool. Is the Taj Mahal. There it is, from a slightly more conventional angle. Oh no, one more. Missed one. Okay, yeah, that is the Leaning Tower of Pisa. But that's slightly out of order. But yeah, it could have been one of many like Italian landmarks. You know, you see a fancy looking basilica. You're somewhere in Italy, aren't you? But yeah, anyone who got Leaning Tower of Pisa, well done. And we are on to round 4. So this is the last round before a short intermission. So I think a couple people had an input error on the cryptids round. So we'll fix those scores during the intermission. And Lost in Translation. So the premise of this round, sometimes movie titles get translated literally into international languages and sometimes they don't. So here are 5 that weren't. Give us the original English titles of these movies. Example is Cloudy with a cloudy with a chance of meatballs might be translated to "It's raining falafel in Israel." Okay, so we've got 5 of these titles for you. First one, this movie was called Head Elves in Hungary. So, which movie do you think was called Head Elves in Hungary? That's Head Elves, and the language was Hungarian, if that informs your guess at all. Second one is in Turkey, this movie was called Money Hunter. Money Hunter. Our third one is in Estonia. This movie was released as Courage. So, which movie was called Courage in Estonia? Obviously, in each of those countries, they're in the respective local language. These are the literal translations. Question 4. In China, this movie was released as One Night Big Belly. One Night Big Belly. What's the movie? And finally, question 5. In Mexico, this movie was called Vaseline. Vaseline, like the, for petroleum jelly. So I'll run through those one more time. Number 1, this movie was called Head Elves in Hungary. Number 2, this movie was called Money Hunter in Turkey. Number 3, this movie was called Courage in Estonia. Number 4, it was One Night Big Belly in China. And number 5, Vaseline, the Mexican title. So you'll see the names of them there in the comments in the chat. And because this one might take a little bit more time for you to type it up and for us to score it, we will take just a short 5-minute interval where you can go get a drink, use the toilet. I might do the same. So we'll be back in, say, 4 or 5 minutes with the answers to this one. So short interval now. All right, guys. It's been about 5 minutes on this round, so let's get our answers in. Quick, type. 5 movies, just guessing. This is pretty much just a guessing round. There's a couple of them you can kind of work out, and there's a couple of them where you go, oh yeah, I see what they were going for there. But most of them are pretty hard. Although, yeah, some people have gotten one or two of them. Someone. Oh, right, yeah, there you did. Okay, so just waiting on one team now. I thought someone failed to enter a team name, but I was looking at the wrong field. All right, so who are we waiting on? We've got TJ, the Rumscallions, Cat Flaps, and Mileski. So, Felix, I think we're just waiting on your answers now. Oh, Annika. Right. Oh, wait, do we have, how many teams do we have? I've been miscounting some stuff. Yeah, Felix is the Rumscallions. Yeah, so we're waiting on Matt and Annika. All right, so let's see. We're gonna have to have a cut off at some point just so we can get. Well, I mean, we're actually ahead of schedule from what I thought, but let's. There we go. We've got all the answers in, so I'll start reading out the answers to those while they get all tabulated. First one, head elves. I don't think anyone got this one. It'll make sense when you hear it. It's Inside Out, because they're like little elves that live in your head. Also in Hungarian, which is the language it was in, apparently it means like brainstorming. Head elves is like to have a bunch of ideas. So it works as like a pun. All right, the second one, Money Hunter. Good guesses all round. The correct answer was Wolf of Wall Street, which I think one team got. Then the next one, question 3. Yeah, in Estonian, this was the name of the Hollywood fantasy imagining of medieval Scotland. You probably know it better as Braveheart. The answer was Braveheart. Yeah, there was a pretty even split between Brave and Braveheart there. And the next one, everyone thought it was The Hangover, but one night, Big Belly was knocked up. So you think about how one night can result in a big belly. And finally, I think quite a few people got the last one. Vaseline is grease. Like Vaseline is grease. And in Mexico, Vaseline is grease. So we will see the current standings in just a second. I might just have a look. I'll explain the premise for the next round while we're waiting for that to come up. So in the next round, oh, here's the standings. Okay, so Cat Flap's still holding the lead thanks to the absolute barnstormer in the cryptids round. But yet, still several teams within 5 points of them. So a single round could flip the table. So our first round back from the intermission is Written in the Stars. So in this round, we've gathered 5 Amazon reviews for the same product. In this case, it's an extremely ridiculous Swiss Army knife with like 150 layers of tools, which you'll see there. Oh, it's just Annika playing, not Annika and Matt. All right. Yeah, so we've gathered 5 different reviews for this Swiss Army knife. I'll read them to you, and you have to guess whether that particular reviewer left 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, up to 5 stars. To help you out, I will tell you there are 5 reviews, and there's 1 of each star rating. So there's 1 1-star review, 1 2-star review, and so on. There's little so the scoring's going to catch up because we've got to go through it again. It's the spelling thing in our automatic scorer. So those scores are they're subject to change, subject to being updated as we go through and manually check them. So I'm going to read out the different reviews for you, and you choose 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, or 5 stars, not scars. And if you need them repeated in the form, there's little audio clips of me reading them out. So first, the first one we'll hear, I will do a dramatic reading. While the welder on this does work absolutely flawlessly, there is no place to store your welding rods. Also, the toaster oven on this is barely big enough to put a small frozen pizza in. Everything is top-notch quality, but it seems like the features are not all thoroughly thought out. So does that sound like a 1-star review, a 2-star review, a 3-star review? I'll read it one more time. While the welder on this does work absolutely flawlessly, there is no place to store your welding rods. Also, the toaster oven on this is barely big enough to put a small frozen pizza in. Everything is top-notch quality, but it seems like the features are not all thoroughly thought out. All right, the second one. So far, I've only opened about half the things on it and taped it to a Roomba. It's been making small repairs around my home while I'm at work. Next project is to lock it in the garage with the car. So one more time. So far, I've only opened about half the things on it and taped it to a Roomba. It's been making small repairs around my home while I'm at work. Next project is to lock it in the garage with the car. So, on a 1 to 5 star rating scale, where do you think that review lands? All right, question 3, the third review we're going to hear today. Seems like a decent product, but shortly after receiving it, Optimus Prime showed up and demanded that I return his comrade. Next time, I'll be ordering the no energon version. So once more, seems like a decent product, but shortly after receiving it, Optimus Prime showed up and demanded that I return his comrade. Next time, I'll be ordering the no energon version. Okay, the fourth review. Don't make the critical mistake I did after my fishing boat capsized, and make sure the rest of the tool is completely closed before activating the inflatable life raft function. So obviously these are joke reviews. So one more time for the fourth one we're going to hear. Don't make the critical mistake I did after my fishing boat capsized, and make sure the rest of the tool is completely closed before activating the inflatable life raft function. Okay, the fifth and final review. This is a long one, but we had to include it because we just love it so much. Here we go. I'm only reading this one once because it's kind of long. I bought this knife about 5 years ago, but never wrote a review of this knife. Today, October 14, 2018, is the first time I write the review for this knife. As a Swiss Army knife collector, I just want it. It looks cool to me. I know it's expensive, but to a crazy collector, if I still able to pay for it, I want it. Of course, I never real use it. I can say I use it for decoration. I like to give myself a good reason to have it. I know, sounds silly, but I do think that way. Finally, I bought it before Amazon ran out of stock. It is just big and heavy, almost £3 of the weight. 49 layers of the tool. I do saw another real buyer wrote the review. I think I should share what I feel about this knife. You do need to handle it very carefully. It's so easy to accidentally cut yourself during handle with it due to some of the blades is longer than handle side. If you like to see how the knife looks like, go to YouTube and search it. I am the guy who use MacGyver background music and count the layers of tool for you at my living ground above the brown carpet. Anyway, yeah, it just ends on the word anyway. I don't know if there was more that this knife enthusiast had to share with us. I guess we'll never know. Uh, but yeah, you can find him on YouTube at his living ground above the brown carpet with MacGyver background music. And most importantly, for our purposes, did he rate the knife between 1 and 5 stars? Where was his star rating? All right, so give everyone a second to get those answers in. Of course, people might be re-listening to the reviews there. We could, I might just paste them into the chat. Oh, no, here everyone's already answering already. Pretty good guesses. All right, and the scores are all in for that round. So I will go through the answers. So review one was the toaster oven guy. He left a 1 star review. Review two made himself a Roomba handyman, and he left a 4 star rating. Review number three, the third one we heard, he had a run in with Optimus Prime, and he gave the knife 2 stars out of 5. Review four was the chap who had a welding mishap, and he left 3 stars. And finally, the fifth review, my personal favorite, was from a true Swiss Army knife fanatic with a brown carpet and MacGyver background music. And of course, he gave the knife a perfect 5 star review. So we can see the latest on the score tables there. And Cat Flaps starting to run away with it. TJ in second place. Everyone else more or less out of the running at this point. But as we said, scores are subject to change as we manually check them. This is just the initial scoring run. And next up will be my favorite round. Do not do copyright infringement. So, as you all probably know, the YouTube algorithm could shut this stream down in less than a second if we actually use any copyright protected music. So that's why our music round is brought to you with the power of me going do do do. So name the song and the artist for the classic music videos that we've recreated here. Let's see what's up first. do do do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. So we want the song and the artist for that. So you should have two spots to pop that in. All right, let's have a look at the second clip. Do 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 do. So the onions are not present in the original video. A little clue there for you. But yeah, again, the title of the song and the name of the artist for that. So you're going to have to just bear with my tuneless do's and use context clues to try and figure out what, or just the visual clues to figure out what the song and artist are. All right, let's have a look at clip number 3. Do 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 do. All right. So of course I got to get my shirt off at some point. Once again, both the song and the artist. If you recognized what music video I was attempting to recreate and what song I was attempting to do. So you can have a second to think about it before we move on to clip number 4. In my assessment, the do's are furthest from the mark in that particular clip. So you're really going to have to try and just go based on what I was doing rather than what I was doing. If you get do and do. And then that's just the final clip. There's some real movie magic in this one. You won't be able to tell how we did it. Just, I mean, how do they do it? Special effects these days, right? So, does anyone need any of those repeated? Yeah, the sirens in that last one just happened to be going past outside our apartment when we recorded it. Yeah, if you need any of those clips repeated, mention it in the comments. But if you think you've got them all already, just type in your guesses. Oh, the videos are in the form, so forget about that. You can All right, so I think we've got most of the scores in. We've got yeah. So once again, as you might imagine, with some of those artists, we're gonna have to go through and manually check a few of these for spelling. Obviously, we're not looking to take points off someone because they spelled a difficult to spell name wrong. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes once we've checked the scores. But feel free to entertain yourselves by watching those videos in the meantime. All right, see you in 2 minutes. Okay, guys, so we're just waiting for one more team to get their answers in. We've manually checked everyone else's. So we might put the current standings up on the screen. If I don't know if that's something we can do right now. Hope you enjoyed Madoo's. All right, so just so yeah, there we go. So scores have been added. Front Scallions doing well. Okay, so one of the team having a technical issue. Do you remember what the videos look like, Team Mileski? Because I think in that case, you should be able to type in your answers just from seeing the thumbnails embedded in the question. But obviously, you've had a bit of a technical error, so we will allow a couple extra minutes for you to get those answers in. But yeah, cat flaps seem to be absolutely dominating tonight. Strong performance in every round so far. Okay, we've got our last round of results in. Okay, so those will get added live. All right. So now we've got all the results in. I can explain to you the premise of round 7. So this is another fairly simple one. Should go fairly quickly. And oh yeah, the answers. I'm getting ahead of myself again. Okay, so when I show you the little clips, the little gifs from these videos, you'll see like what I was going for. All right, so the first one that we saw was, I think everyone got this, the iconic video for I Want to Break Free by Queen. I think I played Freddie pretty well there. The second song that we created, a video, was Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor. Super close up, black background, crying. I think we hit the main elements there. The third song, James Blunt stripping down to sing You're Beautiful. And, you know, a good excuse to show my nipples on stream. Hopefully the nipple algorithm doesn't get us. Question 4, or video 4, was Bye 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 by NSYNC. I think some people got that it was NSYNC but couldn't remember which video had the puppets in. Yeah, it was Bye Bye Bye. And then that brings up our final one, Virtual Insanity by Jamiroquai. Oh, did we miss one? Okay. Anyway, Virtual Insanity by Jamiroquai. They did it using a room that was on rollers, but we'll never reveal how we did it in ours. All right. So there we go. That was that round. I think most people did pretty well on that one. Next one, order in the sport. So you're going to see 5 ways to score in various sports. I want you to put them in order. So you should be able to drag them and move them. I want you to go from the lowest point value to the highest. So the first one in the list should be the lowest point value method of scoring. And at the bottom of the list should be the highest point value method of scoring. So the methods are a grand slam in baseball, a conversion in rugby, a free throw in basketball, a field goal in American football, and a goal in Australian rules football. So put those in order from lowest point value to highest point value. And yeah, that's 1 point for each that's in the correct position in the list. So hopefully this one works properly. All right, so I think I'm going to have to confer with my producer as we score these as they come in. Hopefully this one won't take too long. So another maybe 1 minute mission just as those come in. All right. So we're just waiting again for one last team to get their scores in. And then we'll be on to our final round of the evening, which is one more round of. Oh, this is the one you got a preview of. One more round of general knowledge. Um, Maybe some of you remember the question I mistakenly read out right at the start of the evening. But we're just waiting like a couple of minutes more for the last team to get their answers in. And they're in. So it's time to update the scores. The scores are scoreboard will come up, but it takes a second for them to get updated. But it does seem like Cat Flaps have had an uncharacteristically weak round. So that might throw the whole final round back into everything to play for territory. Right. So, yeah, that does mean that both the Runscallions and Annika could pip Cat Flaps to the number one spot if this last round goes their way. So right up until the final whistle, we've got a game in our hands, guys. So the final round, we're returning to the fertile fields of general knowledge. And the first question, as you might remember, of this round is: from which Italian city does pizza originate? So there are four options for you there. Rome, Milan, Venice, and Naples. So from which Italian city does pizza originate? That's pizza in its modern form as we know it. I don't want to get into any etymological debates about the origin of the pizza. You know what I mean by pizza. Okay, round two. Picasso's famous painting Guernica depicts the bombing of the Basque town during which conflict? The First World War, the Second World War, the Spanish Civil War, or the Basque conflict? So that is Picasso's painting Guernica depicts the bombing of the Basque town during which conflict of the four listed? Okay, our third question in the final round. What is the most populous city in the Southern Hemisphere? The answers are A. Sydney, B. Sao Paulo, C. Buenos Aires, or D. Johannesburg. So the question again, which is the most populous city in the Southern Hemisphere? The largest population of these four cities: Sydney, Sao Paulo, Buenos Aires, and Johannesburg. Okay, the fourth question. Which of these is not a keyboard layout? A. QWERTY, B. Clintar, C. Dvorak, or D. Colmac. So, of course, these would all make great names for your half-orc barbarian, but which of them is not a keyboard layout? QWERTY, Clintar, Dvorak, or Colmac? And the final question of today's stream: how many time zones cover China? 1, 2, 3, or 4? How many time zones cover China? So, one time zone covers England, geographically small country. How many cover China? Okay, so that's all of today's questions. I'm going to read through all of round 8 one more time, just in case anyone missed any of them. So the first question of this round: from which Italian city does pizza originate? Question 2: Picasso's painting Guernica depicts a bombing in which conflict? 3: which is the most populous city in the Southern Hemisphere? Question 4: which of these is not a keyboard layout? And question 5: how many time zones cover China? All right, we've got questions coming in already. Everyone's answers coming in. Lovely. So we'll have the final scores ready in a couple of minutes. I see there's some pizza controversy in the comments. A calzone is a pasty. All right, more coming in. Can cat flaps do enough to secure the number one spot that they've been holding on to all night? They were within, I think, 3 points of being dethroned, so we'll see how it goes for them. All right, just 2 more sets of scores to come in, and then they'll be tabulated, and we will find out. I think that screen name is very accurate. Thank you, Jessica. Cheese toast is a pizza, only if you put Worcester sauce on it. Anyway, you're wrong, Felix, because pizza has to be raw dough when the sauce and cheese goes on. You can't use already baked bread. That's the distinction. I'm not. No, I don't get. I don't know if I've got sauce in my whiskers. They look a bit. There's a weird part in there. Yeah, and I never get into ML debates anyway. 2 teams still their answers in. I think it's going to be a close one by the looks of the scores that have already come in. We'll see how everyone's done. Pizza does tend to be a bit of a touchy subject for people. Which city or region has the best pizza? Argue that in the comments. Yeah, I think so. I think a couple of teams had some submission issues again because it looks like we got a couple of double submissions. But we will sort that all out, see how everyone did. Wait, was I looking at the right round? So just who have we got in? So it is Annika and TJ that we're waiting for, I think. Okay, TJ's in. I actually agree with Annika on this one. I do, as much as I love the pieces of some other regions, I'm a big fan of the one she mentioned. I'm not going to say any pizza regions out loud, but all the answers are in. Okay, Annika's answers are in. Yeah, I do particularly love a Roman pizza. I just think it's really good. All right, so all the answers are in. So while those are being tabulated by diligent behind the scenes staff, um, I'm going to go through the answers. So pizza as we know it today originated in Napoli. And Guernica. So although carried out by the Nazis and Italian fascists, the bombing of Guernica took place during the Spanish Civil War in 1937. Question 3. With a population of over 12 million people, the most populous city in the southern hemisphere is Sao Paulo in Brazil. For question 4, QWERTY, Dvorak, and Colmac are all the names of keyboard layouts. Clintar is the name of the fictional race of alien symbiotes, including Venom and Carnage from the Spider-Man comics. And question 5. So, although from the easternmost to the westernmost point of China, the neighboring countries do span 4 hours worth of time zones, and actually even more intermediary time zones within those. Which one's a longitude and which one's a latitude? That's longitude, right? So there are 4 hours worth of time zones in the longitudinal width of China, but all of China is on Beijing time officially. Legally, there is only one time zone in China. So that is all the scores. And I think one of our teams may be having tech issues again submitting their answers. But we will get the scores as they stand added to the current standings. Let's China one. Okay. Yeah, I think one of our teams is having tech issues again. We will get that taken care of. So yeah, I don't know. That might be just a thing with your phone. I think it looks like Cat Flaps might have taken it. But yeah, we're just going to need a couple minutes for our behind the scenes staff, who is one person who is working very hard to get caught up with everything. So I think we can take one final 2-minute break. I'm going to go grab my last beer, and then we'll finish up with the scores. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. All right, so I think we have got all the scores up to date, and we can reveal the final standings from our first ever full-length trivia stream. So let's see if we can get those up on the screen. Okay, so it did come down to the wire. So finishing in fifth place, Team Muleski with 15 points, a respectable score. TJ with 19, and the Rumscallions with 23, kind of close together in the middle of the pack. But making a late surge, Annika finishes in second place, 29 points. Not quite enough to dethrone. Oh, the scores are updating as we speak. 27 points. Okay, it was not as close as I was making out, but TJ did get 22 points, a bit more than we saw before. Okay, so the final scores. 27 points for Annika. Cat Flaps holding on to their leads. Just solid show all round from the Cat Flaps. Only one bad round, I think. So very good job there. Well deserved win. Of course, you can claim your glossy vinyl countdown cooler sticker. It's Count Dracula, but he's doing countdown. Oh, another team is also saying their points have not been totted up. Did we add the Rumscallions last round? 5 points, Jessica? I think either way, I think Cat Flaps are going to be our final first place finish winners. So great job to them. Well done, Team Cat Flaps. Oh, we might have a last second score update. But thank you all for coming. This is our first time doing a stream this long. It did work out to be just shy of 90 minutes, which is more or less what I expected. Yeah, thank you very much. And tell all your friends. Obviously, the more people that come, bigger and better prizes can be given out. Obviously, if you want a fun night of trivia that's more than just a pub quiz, we do host private events on Zoom, which you can learn more about at our website, triviamystery.com. This month's adventure is Vampire Hunter. Oh, I'm getting some messages from our production team of one. But yeah, we'll be back with more quiz same time next week. Oh, I can't see the scores, Jessica. Update to the scores. Oh, we hadn't added the last round for one of our teams. It's actually a tie for first place. So sorry to deflate your balloon a little bit, Cat Flaps. You're going to have to share your vinyl sticker with the Rumscallions. Yeah. So yeah, little miscalculation there. Well done, guys. Well done, Cat Flaps and Rumscallions. Excellent job all round. Really fun night. I had fun doing it. Hopefully you had fun playing. And wait, what do you mean Cat Flaps are 29? All right. So yeah, as I was saying, the Zoom events. It's basically a mysterious threat looms in the Transylvanian countryside, and you have been invited to investigate. Will you be able to rid the land of monsters, I'll make you become one yourself. So it's the perfect social event for being socially distanced. It's trivia, but there's an element of mystery and betrayal, infiltration, adventure, everything you want. Oh, another last minute change. Oh, such drama, such drama. This is a real La La Land Moonlight scenario. Okay, Rumscallion's outright winner. I'm going a bit too fast for the behind the scenes team. All right. Well, the sticker's all yours, Rumscallions. And we will be back same time next week. Tell your friends, invite them all. We'll definitely have fewer easily misspelled questions next time, so everything goes a bit faster. And socially distant trivia mystery adventures, also a lot of fun. So find out about those on our website, triviamystery.com. All right. Congratulations. Well done. Well done, Rumscallions. And we'll see, hopefully, all of you back with more people this time next week. All right. Bye.